I'm Jay Sandos, joined by the head women's basketball coach at East Tennessee State University, Head Coach Karen Kemp, and guard for the ETSU Lady Bucks, senior Natalie Pickwell. Guys, thanks for taking the time with us to talk about the 2011-2012 season. Coach, first of all, coming into this season, obviously you've got some people to replace. When you lose Letitia Belcher, you lose Tara Davis, and how many 3 championship rings for both of them. Obviously you lose some big-time experience.
No doubt about that. You know, Tara Davis, she was tremendous last year as a senior, and then, you know, Letitia coming back after several injuries to her knee, and she played extremely well. So those are 2 big, players that we'll have to replace and, fill those shoes. But I feel like we have players that we're going to step up and do a tremendous job. And, Natalie being one, she had that opportunity last year to really step up and shine and show what she could do, because she played behind 2 really good players for a couple of years, but it's really paid off. And looking forward to a tremendous senior year from Natalie.
And Natalie, when you were obviously a freshman, sophomore, playing behind Sierra Evans, Toronto Wilds, each player of the year in the conference for the Lady Bucks, you were able to kind of work behind them and then get your chance last year. You're the most improved player on the Lady Bucks squad. Talk about, I guess, the first couple of years just kind of playing behind them and learning, and then when you got your opportunity, what it was like to step up and produce.
Yeah, I mean, I've been asked that before. People say, did you not like sitting behind them, not being able to play like your freshman and sophomore year? But, I just took it as a learning experience. They taught me a lot, offense and defense. I was able to watch them and work against them every day in practice. And, that made me better and made me able to get more experience and helped me out in the long run.
And just the way the progression works in athletics, you were kind of looking up to them for leadership, and now there's a lot of younger girls that'll be turning to you this year for leadership.
Right, yeah, I've just got to do the same thing they did with me, keep pushing them in practice and making them better. It's, it's a new thing your freshman year coming in, it's a different pace, it's, a whole different game, so, just got to try to get them up to speed.
Coach, you lost one member of your coaching staff. Josh Wick moves on, goes to Elon, but you bring back a familiar face to your coaching staff.
No doubt about it. Really excited to have, Brooke back in the program. She is blue and gold through and through. And so, several years ago when she decided she wanted to get into coaching, I told her if I ever had a position that would open up, I was coming after her. And so, I was really excited. She brings a lot of energy, new ideas, and enthusiasm to the team and to the program. So extremely pleased to have Brooke back in the blue and gold.
Well, Coach, when you look at the schedule, obviously, again, you're not afraid to schedule some teams. Going to North Carolina again, LSU's coming to the Mini-Dome. How did that kind of work out to get an SEC school to come play here?
That was a new coaching staff, and actually she's from right down the road from Oak Ridge, and she was an assistant at UT for several years. And it was just a situation where they had a couple of positions or spots opened up in their schedule. And so they called me, and, it was a situation where I needed a home game, and they were willing to travel. So, she's going to get back home, and it's a great opportunity, for us to get that type of team to come to the Dome, because it's not easy, getting those, SEC teams or ACC teams to come to Johnson City. But, we're really excited about that opportunity, and hopefully, it will draw, a big crowd, and we can have a lot of Lady Buck support.
Natalie, what's it like going up against some of the major teams? Obviously, in your career, you've been to Ohio State, you've been to Tennessee, you've been to North Carolina. At home, you happen to have Temple and Vandy and now LSU. What's it like playing against some of the bigger teams that obviously get a lot more television coverage?
I mean, it's exciting. It's nerve-wracking at the same time, but, it's not many people get that opportunity to play against, some of the greatest players, in the nation. So it's a good opportunity for us, helps us get better for the season.
Natalie, a lot of young players that are coming into the squad, and you're going to need some of those young players to step up and help out some of the upperclassmen this season. Talk about what it's been like in the offseason, trying to get them used to the ETSU way of doing things.
I mean, honestly, this year's group of freshmen, I feel like, has been one of the best groups since I've been here. They've picked up on everything really quickly, and they've got a lot of talent. So I think they're going to help us out starting right off.
Coach Kemp, you also get back to Rita Gordon off a knee injury last year, had to sit out with that medical red shirt. Talk about how her knee's doing and how she's progressing.
Really excited to have Tarita back. Last year it was a real blow when she went down in the summer, and we weren't going to have her last year. But I always said, that was possibly a blessing in disguise because we needed that, that leadership and that experience this year, probably more than we did last year. But having her back is going to definitely help this team, especially since we're so young, grow and develop and mature as the season goes on. So, just extremely happy to have Tarita back on the court full time.
Coach, I've said before that I think that Atlantic Sun Conference women's basketball in the last 4 or 5 years has really improved. And it used to be, it seemed like a 1 or 2 team race. Now, all of a sudden, obviously Florida Gulf Coast being eligible this year adds a different wrinkle because they'll be eligible for postseason play. But really this year could be a 4 to 5, 6 team race.
Oh yeah, parity. It's definitely grown over the last 2 or 3 years. Like you said, years past, it seemed to be 1 or 2 teams you would count on being there in the championship game every year, but now it's anybody's game. Gulf Coast coming in, they have come in and played extremely well, and this will be their first opportunity to go to the NCAA tournament, so we know they're going to be extremely hungry. But then you have, Mercer, you have Kennesaw returning a whole slew of players. You have just a really good group of teams, and it was tough, trying to say who we think is going to be 1, 2, or 3, because I think it's anybody's game, it's anybody's championship to win.
Natalie, what do you feel about the last few years? Obviously, ETSU has kind of had that bullseye on their back. They've been picked to win the championship and been picked top of the conference, but now with, or at least for the conference tournament championship, now that Florida Gulf Coast is in there, it looks like they'll have the bullseye on their back. Would you rather be hunted or do the hunting?
It doesn't matter. Either way, I mean, if you got the bullseye on your back, it makes you work harder. But either way, you're wanting to win that championship, so, you got to do what it takes. And, last year we fell short, so, we've got that taste in our mouth, and we're, gunning for whoever.
Coach, when you look at it, coming back into the season late last year, Destiny Mitchell, the talented freshman, went down with the ugly injury. It seems like she's okay, she's ready to go, but that allowed some other people, younger freshmen, to step up and get some quality minutes, whether it be Sean Randall or Jasmine McIntosh. You're able to kind of work them. How's it going to work having Tarita back, hopefully healthy? You got Destiny hopefully back healthy. You got Natalie in the mix, and then some of these younger players that saw those significant minutes last year.
It's only going to make us a better team. In order to be a championship team, you have to have more than 5 or 6 players that can step out there and contribute. And once you go down the bench, once I go to the bench and say, hey, go in, I don't have to worry about if we're going to lose a beat. If I make that substitution because somebody either gets in foul trouble or they need a break. So having Destiny back, she will be 100% hopefully by November the 11th when we tip it up. But right now she's just kind of working her way back in. But Sean Randall, she is a different player on the court. She's out of her knee brace. She's much more explosive, and her quickness is back. So that's been a pleasant surprise thus far. But then they're going to be pushed. They are being pushed right now by a lot of our freshmen. So it's really been exciting these first few days of practice.
And Coach, it seems like the youngest position you'll be at's down in the post.
No doubt about that. We had an injury with Ashley Miles, so she'll be out for the year. So we're going to be depending on a lot of youth, with Tasha Austin being that leader as a junior, down there. But, the first few days of practice, we've had Maria Bond, Amy Duke, some of those young ones have really, really stepped it up and are surprisingly much farther along than I anticipated at this point.
Well, guys, I appreciate you taking the time. Natalie Pickwell, Head Coach Karen Kemp, thank you for joining us today. That's a look at our 2011-2012 ETSU Lady Buck basketball outlook for this season.